Hi, I'm Dave from Two Wheels In. I might have a small gear problem. The motorcycle industry loves riders like me. New jacket, new pants, new boots, texts, emails, sales.
Clearance bins that never seem to have your size.
It's relentless and it works. I get it. Times are super tough for motorcycle dealers right now. I mean, the profit margins on new bikes are tighter than a brand new race suit the day after Christmas. I sympathise, but my sympathy doesn't extend to emptying my savings account. I don't need 5 jackets, 4 pairs of pants, and a gaiter made from macrame llama fur. If you've ever opened your wardrobe and found a jacket you don't remember buying, watch on. Because most of us don't get here by accident. We fall into patterns. Let me introduce you to 3 riders I know far too well.
This is the premium buyer. Top shelf jacket, top shelf pants, top shelf boots. If it costs a month's rent, it has to be safer, right? This is the research rabbit hole rider. He spends 3 weeks comparing membranes and YouTube reviews, buys the perfect jacket for that one Arctic expedition that never actually happens. And this is the improviser. This'll do for now. Buys the cheap option 3 times instead of the good one once. Saves money by not really saving money at all.
If you're honest, you'll probably get at least one of these. At least I was.
And the gear industry knows all of this. They don't sell armour, they sell identities. Endless grids of jackets in 12 colours, adventure names, mountain backdrops, heroic music. Are you a real ADV rider? A track hero? An urban warrior who mostly rides to the cafe? Scroll long enough and the website builds a better fantasy version of you than you've ever managed on your own. You might also like people who bought this also bought limited colour, 48 hours only.
It's all designed so I'll think about it, quietly turns to add to cart at midnight on a Tuesday. So how do you fight back against all of that? Well, for me, it came down to 3 questions.
Question 1. Do I really need this, or am I buying a fantasy version of myself? Question 2. What does this gear replace? Question 3. Am I still going to be using this a year from now, or is it just future wardrobe clutter?
And just to be clear, I'm not saying you only get to wear one jacket. There are some genuinely useful splits. A summer jacket and a proper winter one. Lightweight gloves and insulated gloves. Maybe leather for the road and textiles for touring. That stuff makes sense.
What I'm talking about is jacket number 3, 4 and 5. The ones that live at the back of your cupboard. Because they were bought for a fantasy version of my riding.
So I pulled everything out and forced myself to sort it. What stays? What's niche? And what's just a bad idea? Now this was my first motorcycle jacket, purchased in 2017. I basically put it to cosplay as a rider. It's comfortable, it's hip, but it's hot, and it's also not as good as the rest of the gear that I've bought since then. These are a classic store credit issue. I bought these when Dharma had returned some items. Found myself thinking to myself, man, I really need some adventure pants. I must have worn them like 3 times. They're not bad. They're just not as good as the rest of the gear I've got. I mean, they're basically a walking receipt. These are my casual motorcycle boots that I bought in Bali. I convinced myself that they were the perfect mix. I mean, they're functional, they're protected, and yet they look really cool and really hip. But the more I look at them, the less I'm convinced that they're actually that safe. And here's the thing. Any one of these could have been a few extra tanks of petrol or a weekend away. Instead, they sit in my cupboard, silently judging me. Now this pile's a little bit different. It's not pure stupidity, it's just niche, but not what I use every day. Take these boots, super comfortable, they look great around the office, but they've got no rotation protection. They're fine for walking into a meeting, but less fun when you're bouncing down a highway. And then there's the wet weather gear. For a while, this stuff was absolutely essential. Throw it over everything and hope for the best. But then I bought better wet weather gear and I don't need this much anymore. Now, none of that's bad gear, but it doesn't match the way that I ride most of the time. So this pile, and there's actually more stuff in this chest here, is the stuff that actually earns its keep on a daily basis. So take these boots, for example. Now, these are not subtle boots, but they do one thing really, really well. If I come off the bike, I'm not breaking an ankle with these things. They're comfortable enough that I forget I'm wearing them. And then there's this, my daily riding gear. Now, the Scott suit is white-ish, so it gets dirty fast, but it covers all of my riding in all weathers. Now, it's been on highways at 40 degrees, it's been in back roads at 4 degrees. It's not perfect, but it's good enough at almost everything. If there's a pattern to this pile, it's this. It's comfortable enough that I stop thinking about it. It's versatile enough that it works in a stupidly wide range of conditions. And it doesn't make me miserable when I get off the bike. Looking at this table now, it seems pretty obvious to me. The gear that survived is the gear that would have passed those 3 questions. Do I actually need this, or am I buying a fantasy version of myself? Where's it going to live, and what will it replace? And am I still going to be using it a year from now, or is it just future wardrobe clutter? If I'd asked those 3 questions every time I pulled my card out, these 2 piles would have been a lot smaller.
So if I strip all of this back, this is what I actually need. This side is the core kit. This side is regret, niche, and bad decisions.
Look, for most riders, we can cover 90% of our riding with these things.
1 good helmet, 1 versatile jacket, 1 pair of riding pants, 1 pair of proper boots that will save your ankles and won't make you hate walking into a cafe, and a couple of pairs of gloves to cover hot, cold, and wet.
If you look at injury data, your head, your hands, and your feet cop a lot of damage. And that's why you always go with decent helmet, decent gloves, and decent boots. Jacket and pants matter, but you don't need 5 of them.
Every extra just-in-case jacket is basically a tank of petrol I didn't buy. At some point I had to decide, do I want more outfits or more kilometers?
If you genuinely enjoy collecting gear, you go for it. I'm not here to ban fun. But if your wardrobe looks anything like mine did, maybe later on pull something out and ask yourself, would I buy this again, or would I rather have full tank or a weekend ride away? If you like this video, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and comment, and tell me what was your dumbest gear purchase. Name and shame, baby. Okay, and I'll see you on the next ride. Of course, there is one extra reason to actually have a lot of gear.